So, tell us about your trip.
It started back in May the 20th when I took off for 3 months. This is my second time that I'm in Peru, and I wanted to create a travel expedition.
Out of all the places, why did you choose Peru?
That's a really good question. No matter how many times I thought I would have prepared for this answer, I still don't know how to give you the right answer. But I think Peru is, to me, Peru is very special out of all the countries that I've visited so far because of its diversity. Like you'll take a bus 5 hours down a road and you end up in a different town, and the feel is just different. And the food is different, so it's almost like traveling in different countries but in the same country.
Did you like the food?
The food was good. They've got stuff like guinea pigs, guinea pigs, like roasted guinea pigs and stuff like that. I didn't actually try any guinea pigs, of course, because poor thing, like how can you eat it? It's like doesn't have any meat. Yeah, they have a lot of pork, a lot of roast pork, and the land of potatoes. I'm not a huge fan of eating potatoes besides, Macca's fries. That's about it. So for me, I just didn't really enjoy eating a lot of potatoes. But it was the first time that I discovered so many healthy drinks like maca, emoliente. These are like a street drink where people would just sell it in drink carts at night, and you go out and you give them like one sol less, or sometimes
One
like
sol.
one sol, which is like, I don't know, 10 cents Australian.
Yep.
I don't know how much it is, but that's how cheap it is, and it's hot. They make it with aloe vera, all these other plants and
it's good for your body.
additives, and it's just healthy. It's just like a healthy drink, and I love it. Like, it's amazing. I remember getting one like almost every night when I was in Arequipa.
If I was to go to Peru, where would you tell me to go?
I would definitely recommend you to first, of course, stop by Cusco. Cusco is the main tourist town attraction. That's where you go to do your Machu Picchu trek. You go see the Rainbow Mountain.
Rainbow Mountains.
The Rainbow
That sounds
Mountain.
cool.
It's basically like it's mountains, but it's got all these different colors. And
Really?
They call it Rainbow Mountain.
How does it have all these different colours?
I think it's just like the minerals in the rocks and the sand.
I really want to see this now.
Really? You haven't
sounds
seen
cool.
it?
No, I haven't seen it. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so basically Rainbow Mountains are like a thing there, and people go on like day treks. So you trek for like 5 hours until you get on top, and then you take a tourist picture, and there you are. But I think it's just the journey up there is what people enjoy rather than getting there. See, it's always about the journey, not the destination. Machu Picchu is a magnificent place. I mean, you hear it all the time, you see it in pictures, but it's another thing to actually travel there and doing the trek yourself. I did the 4-day Inca jungle trek, so every day there was a different activity for us to do. Like would be going mountain biking one day, the next day we'll be doing like
so it's not all just walking?
No.
Okay.
For our trek, it was 1 day full of walking, 8 hours when we walked through the Inca Trail. But all the other days were like doing different activities. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's good.
Okay.
And then once you get up there, it's just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. It's so beautiful. It just feels like it, because it's high above sea level as well. I think it was like 3,000 something meters above sea level. So you just feel like a sense of, I don't know, you just feel lifted. You feel like there's a huge vibrational energy up there.
Yeah.
No, now it just sounds strange, but like once you get there, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you sum up Peru in like 3 words?
Sum up Peru in 3 words. Well, I think it was very exhilarating, mind-bending, diverse.
Okay. So why was it exhilarating?
It was exhilarating because everywhere I went, there was like this sense of being transported back to the Incan times, where I'm in this world that people in modern days.
Like not a lot of technology around.
Yeah, like I feel as if I've been transported back to a world where before all of this technology existed. You know, people still wear their traditional clothings, and they still do traditional things like you know, herding the alpacas and making clothes out of them, and then using their plants and trees and barks and things like that to make dyes, colors, insects to dye their cotton. It's crazy. So to me, it was extraordinary. Yeah.
Something that you've never seen. Like you never see that here.
Yeah, it's good to see another way of living, and how different people are around the world. I feel as if technology really disconnected us from a lot of the things that we are capable of.
Yeah.
For example, being connected with nature, being connected with your neighbors, being more giving, being more generous. I think it's because of technology and all these things, which does make our life seemingly a lot easier, but it does also have its negative. It takes away some aspects of our natural sense of self as well, you know, because we rely on that. Yeah.
So you went to Peru by yourself. I myself would never travel alone. So why would you recommend traveling by yourself?
I think traveling solo gives you like a sense of freedom that nothing ever could do the same. I think it's because when you're living in your hometown day by day, you have a sense of like, you know, you have a routine, you have family, you have friends, you have job, you have things that defines who you are, and who you are every day is basically just doing the same thing and having
But then so when you go overseas, that's just breaking a routine anyway. But what makes that different from like traveling like with a few friends, or compared like to traveling by yourself?
I enjoy traveling solo because you can do whatever you want whenever you want. If you didn't like a particular group that you're with, you're free to leave, you know, anytime you want. You can just check out the next day, given that you haven't booked several days in advance. But even if you do, most places will be happy to like refund you or whatever. But I think traveling solo just gives you a sense of being flexible. Like you can just maneuver, go, do whatever you want.
You don't have to cater for anyone else.
Yeah, you don't have to cater for anyone else, and you can just choose your own groups and freely make friends with people and not having anyone weighing you down. You know, like, have you guys ever kind of like gone out with a friend or a group of friends, and then you meet a new person or someone else, but then they kind of drag you away because they're like, oh, you know, let's go, or let's go do something else, or like, I don't feel comfortable being with that person or whatever. Like, I'm sure everyone's experienced that. But you see, when you travel alone, take away all of that, you're free to do whatever you want, stay as however long you want, get to know different interesting people around the world. And you know, some of the stories you hear from them is just, it changes your perspective. You get so far away from your job, your family, your friends, to this place where everything is new, and you know, the way that people live their lives is so different. You get to kind of experience something completely different for yourself, right? And you start to really define what you really like or what you're interested in.
So have you changed some parts of you?
That's a really hard question to answer.
There has to be like things have definitely changed since you've gone.
Definitely, yeah. I can't tell for myself that I've drastically changed any kind of you know, features or personality wise. I think I know more of what I want and what I don't want, and I can recognize that instantly. And I guess that comes from traveling.
Just yeah.
It comes from
The more you
traveling.
experience,
Yeah, exactly.
the
The more you
understand about yourself.
experience, the more you just kind of you just know what you want and what you don't want, and how you. It's kind of like meeting all these backpackers or people on the road, right? Like you judge that instantly. Oh, do I like this person? Are we vibing well? You know, do we have anything to offer each other? You know, is our relationship going to equally benefit us right now?
Oh, that's really
cool. Yeah. So just things like that, and you know, you become so used to it. It's like a muscle, and you just get used to it.
Did you miss Peru when you just came back to Melbourne, or do you still miss it now?
No, I think this time I'm very much at peace with where I need to be.
So you achieved what you wanted to achieve?
Yes, I went out there, did whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I no longer have to wonder and kind of always think the grass is green on the other side. I soon realized that I would rather love traveling around the place and discovering the culture rather than embed myself and live
in just
the
one
lifestyle. Yeah. So to me, I realized that I was more like an explorer. Like I love exploring the place, but not necessarily
staying.
to stay there and yeah.
Okay.
So this time round, much more at peace.
So what did you do this time? You stayed in a few places.
So once when I landed in Peru, I went to Iquitos. Iquitos is like, you know, the Amazon. And that's where I first started getting into my jungle retreat, which is Ayahuasca. Now, this is the topic that a lot of you was very interested in asking me about because obviously it is something considered taboo over here in the Western society.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember years ago I would be discussing with my friends and they were like, oh, you know, there's these shamans in the middle of the Amazon jungle and you go there and you just like drink this tea and then they chant and they look after you and you just like, but you know, some people would like vomit or shit, like you can't control your bladder and so, like, you know, all the things that we hear, it's not really like that.
Yeah.
Really? No, like
okay.
Once you're there, it's a different kind of setting. And I remember to myself the first time I stepped foot into a maloca. Now a maloca is like an outdoor kind of shed where you have the ayahuasca ceremonies, and it's like a round shed with fly screens because obviously it's really hot there, right? So you lie on these foam mats. Some places they give you like foam mats, but the one that I worked with, we were all situated on a hammock each, and this is like in the middle of the jungle. We like had to hike there, 1 hour hike in the muddy jungle. This is like the real hike into the jungle, right?
There's like no roads, nothing.
No, it was like.
So how did the people know where they're going? They had a compass. The guides had, obviously the guides have a compass or something.
I mean, like there were some people lived inside the Amazon, you know, so you'll see like 1 or 2 houses along the way. So I had a chance to work with a few people that were coming from the States. Now my friend, he ran a ayahuasca retreat in Iquitos. We hiked into the Amazon and we stayed there for a few days at a time. Usually you'd have to kind of...
So you only stay there a few days, you have to leave after a few days?
Oh, well, we have to get out and kind of buy more groceries like, you know, bring more gas in and things like that. So anyway, in this jungle, it's pitch black, no electricity, you know, you basically just reduce your carbon footprint. And it's crazy because here you are 1 minute, you're like in the most livable city in the world, Melbourne. The next, I find myself in the middle of the Amazon where I could hear pumas roaring in the middle of the night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like shit scared. I was like, are these pumas gonna come near us?
Yeah.
But then, you know, obviously they tell us that they don't really come near humans unless we're a threat to them or whatever. If they're starving, they've got animals like monkeys and chickens and things like that they could eat. Yeah, so it wasn't like a threat or anything. Yeah. But boy, the mosquitoes, they were horrendous. Do you think those mosquitoes in Vietnam are bad? Wait till you go into the Amazon.
Last time I went to Vietnam, I didn't get bitten at all.
Really?
Yeah.
No, when you go into like the countryside. Yeah. I used like almost my whole mosquito repellent, and it's like a huge bottle, it's like 150 mils, jungle strength for the jungle.
Anyway, back to this ayahuasca. So what did you do? You just drink a tea?
paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de. Wingo wingo gan, wingo 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 gan. Paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de, paro parito paro de.